If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I'd want is you to shade me and be my leaves. If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I'd want is you to shade me and be my leaves.
I met Richelle through a friend, Valerie Gilroy. She brought her to church one day for a youth group.
My first reaction was I thought he was really cute. So I think right away I was kind of somewhat interested in him.
Well, one thing that I really found attractive about her was her eyes. I noticed her eyes, and one very unique thing that I liked about him was that they looked purple to me.
He is really into doing stuff outside, like outdoors, like biking and hiking and skiing. And
She played volleyball and was really into sports, and at that time I found that very attractive. I still do, but that was one thing that I really liked about, girls, and I really liked about her.
He really just loved God with all of his heart, and I think that's the main thing that really just kept drawing me in. And I love his Donald Duck little voice that he does. He says I love you, or he sneezes, and I always laugh.
I love you. Hold me in your arms and sway me like the sea. If you were the wood, I'd be the fire. If you were the love, I'd be the desire. If you were a castle, I'd be your moat. And if you were an ocean, I'd learn to float. All I want is you be my bride. Take me by the hand and stand by my side. All I want.
Oh man, my two sisters, they were protective of their little brother. I tell you what, to start courting Richelle, if I didn't let them know what was going on, there's a battle, and they didn't let Richelle in easy. I mean, they made her work for it.
I was afraid more of Kristen. She's more protective, and I guess more like vocal about being protective than Becca is. Kristen's a little sassy, so. We both kind of decided we were old enough, but we wanted to make sure it was what God wanted. And so we talked about it. We went for a walk, and we talked about going on a 6-week separation.
And that meant no communication at all. Obviously, we went to the same church, so we saw each other, but there's very little communication. And but that was really good. It really gave us a point just to focus in on our own lives and know what we really wanted. And I would encourage anybody to do that, because the emotions get so intense that you just want to go for it right away. Whereas when you step back and really look back on it and just explore, what else is out there? Is this really what I want? And then when you go into it, there's no doubt at all.
I remember having a conversation with God in my car, just on some little back road during our separation. And I remember just hearing his voice so loud and clear. I've never, heard it like that before. And after that I was just like, okay, I know that I'm supposed to marry him.
At church, my mom would ask her, so how you doing on this whole break thing?
I kept talking to his mom, whenever I'd see her at church or whatever, and she'd be like, well, just be prepared if he says no, and all this stuff. And I remember after those conversations, I was like, what? Because in my mind, God had already answered my question for me,
and so obviously that puts Richelle's mindset of, oh no, does he not like me? Does he not want to be with me? And so thanks to my mom, she stressed her out pretty good. And we met at the service station, and we got a few drinks, went outside and sat down. And so I said, so, you know, what do you feel the Lord told you? Just jumped right to it because I didn't want to wait. We both wanted to go for it, and so we did.
Breath fogged up the glass, and so I drew a new face and laughed. I guess what I'm saying is there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanity and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue. I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to open up your mind and see blockade. Open up your plan today. It's short. Look into your heart and you'll cannot wait. I'm yours. No,
I say that our engagement started out with a lie, because I had told her that I had to work on our 1-year anniversary, and she was all bummed out, but I said, no, don't worry though, I have some stuff planned out that your mom's going to take you around and stuff like that.
He had given a note to my mom to give me that just said, go with the flow. So my mom made me breakfast, and there was flowers. When I woke up, there was like a dozen roses.
And then that morning I woke up and I got some more flowers together, and so I went to the place where she's going to get her nails done. That was going to be the first stop, and I dropped off another dozen roses. And of course all the ladies, they're all a little bit older, they're going, oh! And one asked me if I had any uncles that were single, and I said no, I thought I'd save my uncles on that one.
And she took me to get my nails done, and there was a dozen flowers waiting for me there.
And I went over to the massage place and gave them a dozen roses, and once again all the ladies just being oogly googly.
She took me to get a massage, and there was another dozen flowers waiting for me there.
While she was getting her massage, my mom came, and her mom and my mom switched, so she came back out and there was my mom.
And we went shopping for like a really nice kind of like evening dress.
Because after shopping, they went back to my parents' house, and Becca and Kristen were waiting there in their professional looking outfits, their white shirts with their black pants, and they were going to be her pampers.
They got me ready. Becca did my hair, and Kristen was doing my makeup, and Cindy was just taking pictures. And
while they were doing that, I had gone to my grandma's house to change into my tux. I rented a tux, and then we went to the Grange, which is right above our house, and there I met the limo that I had rented.
He picked me up in a limo, and so in the back of my mind I was always like, oh man, I think he's gonna propose.
Our song is a slamming screen door, sneaking out, tapping on your window when we're on the phone and you talk real slow, 'cause it's late and your mama don't know. Our song is the way you laugh. The first date, man, I didn't kiss her and I should have. And when I got home, before I said amen, asking God if he could play it again.
Now, you couldn't see the setting until you came up over the bridge, and it was really cool because the water was running under the bridge with all the candles lit and the flowers, and then you saw where we were gonna dance.
There was like a little pathway of daisies kind of weaving to like this gazebo that had been like done up with tulle and white Christmas lights,
And I had put together a CD of our favorite songs that we enjoyed together.
we just started dancing, and
I pulled her back and I said, I have something for you. And
at that point I was like, you know, and he bent down and he grabbed this little bouquet of daisies.
it was tied together with ribbon, and in that ribbon was the ring. We tied it into the bow.
And I started crying, and I don't even remember what he said.
I got down on a knee and I proposed to her, and she said yes, but the only thing, she didn't let me put the finger on, or the ring on her finger. I had to ask her if I could do that because she got so excited. So I put it on there, and while I was doing that, we hear across the river somebody clapping and going, yeah, congratulations!
So we went back to the limo, and his whole family was in the limo, and they're like, surprise!
I grabbed a pen and an old napkin and I wrote down our song.